Good afternoon again, ladies and gentlemen, and good evening to Cambodia. My name is Lucy Reed. I'm the Deputy Programme Manager for Halo Cambodia. Just a few administrative points before we start today. This webinar is being recorded and will be available on our website later this week. Please do feel free to ask questions using the Q&A section at the bottom of your screen. You can choose to ask questions anonymously if you wish. We will endeavour to answer as many of your questions as possible. If we run out of time, we'll follow up with you over the next week. And in addition, COVID-19 has had a small impact in Cambodia. There's no community spread, only 288 cases identified, and no COVID-related deaths. As such, social distancing measures are currently not in place for us. So, without further ado, welcome to Halo's fourth From the Field webinar entitled Halo Cambodia, a Lasting Impact. 3 decades of conflict in Cambodia has resulted in the country holding the unfortunate claim of being one of the world's most densely mined countries. Since records began in 1979, over 64,000 landmine casualties have been reported, as well as over 25,000 amputees. A devastating explosive legacy contaminates huge swathes of land across Cambodia. This includes the infamous K5 mine belt. It's one of the world's largest mine fields, approximately 750 kilometers long. It was laid in the mid-1980s, and it was all along the border of Thailand and Laos to prevent the reinfiltration of the recently banished Khmer Rouge. The K5 comprises rows upon rows of anti-personnel and fragmentation mines, and is without doubt one of the most densely mined places on Earth. The K5, as you can see from the map, highlighted in red and green, as well as many other minefields around former military bases and old road networks, are obstructing vital agricultural livelihoods upon which thousands of Cambodians depend, as well as the construction of roads, schools, irrigation systems, and all of the like that are essential for the broader development of Cambodia. In addition, increased internal migration as the population has grown in recent years is putting even more pressure on land resources in Cambodia. This means people are forced to farm land that they know may contain landmines out of economic necessity. For far too many people, it's an impossible choice of either risk an accident or be unable to feed your family. Halo's been working in Cambodia since 1991. Today, we employ 1,200 men and women from mine-affected communities to clear landmines from their own land. These amazing men and women work tirelessly in the field to remove explosive remnants of Cambodia's war and create a better future for their fellow citizens. Our work in Cambodia has benefited thousands and thousands of people. Not only are we reducing casualty numbers and giving jobs to people from mine-impacted communities, but also we're creating safe land for farming. In 2019, as you can see from the pie chart on the screen, 70% of the land we cleared has already been used for agricultural activities. And that will enable our beneficiaries to grow over 5,000 tons of crops every year. So, with that in mind, it is my absolute pleasure to introduce today our 3 speakers who are in Siem Reap. So I would very much like to invite them to introduce themselves. Shall we start with Nira?
Hi, everybody. I am Nira, operation manager. So I've been working for Hello within 24 years.
Okay. Sarah.
Good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen from Cambodia. My name is Mao Zarataro, known as Saro. I worked for the Trust for 22 years, since 28 October 1998. It's my birthday today. I'm currently a operations manager planning. My job is to manage clearance plan in Cambodia. Thank you.
22 years ago today, you joined Saro.
Yeah.
Your Halo birthday.
Yes.
Great, thank you. Anda?
Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Thưa, and I was work for Hello for 5 years, and my currently is administrator and storekeepers. I manage all medical supply like medicine across of Cambodia, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Your name has an interesting story, doesn't it?
Yes, my name is Soktur. That means in Cambodia is short person in Cambodia.
And how short are you, Da?
1.45.
But ladies and gentlemen listening at home, let me reassure you that is no reflection on Der's personality. She is a formidable woman. Okay, thank you guys for your introductions. So, shall we begin today? The first question I have is for Saro. So, could you explain to us what it was like growing up in Cambodia before and also during the war?
Just right before the Cambodia, the conflict in Cambodia, early '97, I still remember that my family was in such a good livelihood. My parents ran some business, but later in 1975, my father died when I was sick. Then the Cambodia fell into Khmer Rouge ruling or region. In those days, it's my childhood throughout the Khmer Rouge region. It was almost 4 years. People eating together, working together collectively, and children under 10, including myself, were gathered to work as a team. The common work we did those days were clearing wild vegetation in the rice fields and producing sort of compost fertilizers. And after the Khmer Rouge regime had been overthrown, we still continue living in the same communities. They were only my widow mother and my sister and myself. We living in a poor conditions and in the village, which is close to the Thai border, approximately 22 kilometers. And later in middle 1982, my village was evacuated. So it's close to the border. I was too small, I didn't know what the plan was, but the sort of military strategy plan in terms of attacking to the refugee camps and the border. However, we fled to live in the camp because the village was closed and people separated, but most of us went to live in the refugee camp. But it was still in Cambodian territory. The camp I live in, all children went to school as normal, even it's not a good school. What I remember well was that we kept hearing gunfire, sounds of shells, sometimes it's very close, and we frightened. We had a big fear, especially when we were outside the house, like going to school or walking on the street. Sometimes we saw the victim of casualty evacuations from the battlefields, injury caused by mine, and also fighting. We lived there, and what I remember very well was as boys, we were not given food ration from by the UN because it's a mix of military and a military family, and sometimes to get the card for food ration, we need to dress as the girl and make up, and then like a fake girls try to get that. I tried 3 times, but one I got a card, but the last 2 were too big and I shy, I ran away. And Nira, I think he had that as well. That's the reason that let me join the soldier. And most of the children, the boys those days had that. It's not the full soldier. We didn't go to fighting, things like that, but just like younger generation, maybe given military trained. I was 15, I remember. The whole idea was try to get the food ration, the food through military, but we trained to be familiar, including familiarizations of guns and type of gun and how to use it. And I also did some work, assisted my commander after school or weekend. Life was going on like similar in the camp. And then early 1985, there was the attack, massive attack from the government of Republic of Cambodia's forces in collaboration with Vietnamese troops. The aim was to clear the entirely Cambodian-Thai border prior to the establishment of the K5. We were big enough, we understand this as we were listening to radio. And then that was when we fled into Thailand, the last refugee camp we lived in. And also where I met Nira in a high school for 2 or 3 years prior to the completion of high school. We enjoy school together. However, leaving the camp, it was kind of secure and get away from the fighting, the war, because it was in Thailand and the Thai authority controlled. However, we kept hearing gunfire and the fighting because the camp was about 2 or 3 kilometers from the border. Thing was going on, fighting was going on until 1989, after the Vietnamese troops had withdrawn. Then all the opponents party counterattacked and reoccupy their previous position. That was when the people or refugee in the same camp I live had opportunity to cross the border to look for food, foraging inside Cambodia, which is about a few kilometers from the camp. And I kept hearing about mine accidents and seeing some mine victims in the hospital in the camp. Then one day, my friends and I just want to go out, see the field and slightly to see Cambodia and looking for something same as the other people. But it's more about fun than try to get food. However, we crossed the border, which was the K5 mine belt, very densely mined laid, and we walked through the very narrow footpath and a lot of anti-personnel mines exposed and visible along the sides of the footpath that we were using. And I understood it was why it caused a number of accidents and mine accidents since people start crossing the mine lines. As I heard before, and then I saw it myself, the situation. Sadly, my cousin had accident on the spot. He just stepped off that footpath looking for something, and he amputated one of his legs. And 1992, the life in a refugee camp was ended. It took about 1 year, 1992 and early 1993, under UNHCR arrangement, people repatriate to Cambodia. That's the end of my childhood and my life during the war. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that story with us. It's so tragic that your cousin lost his leg, and now with Halo, you are working on the K5 almost every day which is amazing for you to clear minds where your cousin had that accident. So that's fantastic. Thank you. So moving to Neera, how did the war affect your life?
Yes, since I born, I know something before the country collapsed to the conflict. So I know my families were very great in the village. So people living like safe and free everywhere until Khmer control the country. So my family been moved from the community to live in the far away from the old village. Then Khmer been killed my father, and my grandmother been in the jail during Khmer control. So that is basic situation for my family, and I lose a lot of relation, of the relative in during that time. After the Khmer rule controls in 1979, Vietnamese took place of the Khmer rule and put the Khmer rule to the border, and my family did not stay for long in the country during Vietnam control, just quite less than 1 year. And because my mom didn't happy to stay, and she brought family to the border. And at the end of the 1979, so we living in the border early of the 1980. My mom and me went to the forest to collecting some wood for building shelter, but very lucky, there's a man south for landmine. Then I told my mom, come back, landmine. I didn't know very clear about landmine, but just landmine. And my mom, she was scared that she come back, and we all come back to the place where the family is staying. And a few months later, I saw the buffalo got the anti-tank mines. And the first time I saw the explosion, quite very strong, and saw the big smoke around 100 meters from the ground. And I quite very surprised, the first big bomb that I never heard. Then I went to see the situation as well. I went there and saw the buffalo lay on the ground, and the crater of the explosion is quite deep, it's around 1 meter, and the diameter is around 2 meters. So I think that, oh, landmine is very dangerous. Then it make me remember landmine is very, very dangerous. Then number of years later, we still living along the border, and until 1985, I had joined the military for a short term, and Vietnamese pushed again to the Thailand. Then I've been the same, the other refugees, we moved in Thailand, then start school in there until 1988 or 1989, I mature in the same high school, same classroom, and until we graduate high school in there. And after graduated high school, I went back to join my team at the original military position that we stayed before. And I went across with my friend onto the K5, but I remember mineland, so I very scared, but I still keep on lines of the footpath, and I saw a lot of mine on the ground. Then I quite very concentrate and after the old man, so still scared, and until the young man told, oh, landmine is finished, then I a bit happy, so asked normal. Yes, until the 1992, I did a repatriation back to homeland, and I start first job in my homeland as a laborer. And one day I went through the forest for foraging with my friend, and my friend got mine accident. So in my old village was mine as well. And then in 1996, I find out job. I joined the laws and I start from the deminer. I spent 2 years as deminer and I got a very promotion. As right now, I am a operation manager responsible on clearance. I oversee 1,000 deminers.
That's great. Thank you, Nira. And considering that terrible buffalo accident you experienced when you were a child with an anti-tank mine, and now after many years of working with Halo, you've destroyed hundreds of anti-tank mines, right?
Yes.
Which is amazing. Thank you. So, Duh, you are of a different generation to Saro and Nira. You didn't live through the conflict. So how have you experienced land mines and explosives in Cambodia?
Yes, I am younger than Saro and Nira. I never born during war, but I have heard of mines, have accident from the grandmother telling me about the wars. But after that, I left school, 14 years old. I go to work at the west of Cambodia. Then I sent heard of mine. So the village chief, they told me that forest have a mine. But I still, with my friend, go to the forest for collect bamboo shoot and mushroom. Then one day I go with them, with him. Then my friend, he's dug up the mines, anti-personal mine. Then that time I don't know what to do. I scared and afraid, and I just shot him for help, calling village chief come and help. Then village chief and villagers come a lot and take my friend go to a hospital. Then my friend had amputation and hand some fingers. But now my friend he's already get married. He's male and he have 3 child. But I always talk with him on Facebook or some phone calls. And after that, I still continue to see the mine in that village. When that time that buy the empty mine, that I always go and collect the empty mine for selling, get the money. Because my family is poor. My mom, she cannot talk, cannot hear, and I choose my choice, stop study, and I want to earn the money to support my family. Then after that, I heard from village chief for the recruitment for Hello Trust that I also asked him what the Hello Trust. Then he explained me the Hello Trust is work for mine clearance. Then I said, find the mine. He said yes, just they have technical for organization, the Hello Trust, they were training like that. And also he said, you can speak some English little bit, can you join? Then I feeling interesting, and I say, okay, I will go and for recruitment. Then after that, I recruitment, this has the minor. I went for training, the minor training. Then I go for the mining clearance in the minefield 1 month. After that, I come to a translator for location manager for 4 years. Then after that, I roll to medic team. Now my currently is administrator and storekeepers, and I manage all medical supply like medicines and across of Cambodia. And other I reconnect to all staff, hello staff is who are have sick. I have to get help them to get well. Or other I take them go to see doctor or to hospitals. And also I training like has a hello medical like training evacuation, training paramedics hello in case have in the minefield have accidents.
Great, thank
Yes,
you very
thank you.
much.
Yes.
You've had a great career in Halo already, thank you. And a really interesting point that's come from all three of your stories is about the work that Halo does and how we provide livelihoods for people from mine-affected communities, like all three of you. So, and Sarah and Mira, when you first joined Halo, you ran into each other again, right? When you first began at Halo.
Yes, of course. Let me start a little bit about my life or my career with Halo. So I just looked for a job through 1990s, but eventually on today, 28 October 1998, when I applied for Halo, whatever job, I just mainly aim for like a translator, because I spoke some English, and they received my CV, but return offer me a job as a deminer. But still, I was very happy. Then, like the same month, then on the payday, Nira was section commander already. He walked across and I noted on in a compound, and I shouted like surprisingly, and he also surprised, but then he like just
I didn't recognize.
he didn't recognize me, and it took a bit of time, and then until he recalled, and he just ran to me, and then just like hits me, and then okay, it's good luck to meet again. It's not long time, just after 7 8 years, but he forgotten me already because he was section commander. And then yeah. Then I continue my careers from T-minus, then translator, and roll up through various different positions every year and a half or 2 years. Now I'm operation manager planning. My main job is to manage the clearance plan for Operation Hello Cambodia. But however, every time we promoted, I've been promoted and given new jobs. Hello also provide or give me a lot of different operational trainings and skills, so I can deal with my different jobs and positions, made my career easier. Then that's why I like growing up in Halo and through different positions. Yeah, I personally would like to express my deep thanks for Halo Trust, because after my childhood, my life as youths or teenagers in a conflict period, and Halo has made my life a lot better, provide me a lot of knowledge and experiences, not just good for Halo work or career, but also support my family and my personal life.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Siro. And you also started as a deminer, and you have a great story about the first mine that you found.
Yes, yes. Just I first after when finished the training, then I went for the miner clean the minefield. The second day when I go to the minefield, then I start clearing. Then after that I isolation for mine. Then I found for mine, 80% mine. Then I just like when I saw the mine, then I cry. Then I shout for calling field officer come. Then I first that the field officer arrived. Then he said, "Why you cry?" I said, "Because I afraid of the mine." Then he said, "You come here for what?" Then I said, "I come here for uh, work, for job, and I need the money for support to my family." He said, "If you sing like that, why you cry? You stop cry." Then I angry the field officer. Okay, I stop cry. I stop crying. Then I make my life. I feel like strong. I stop crying. But after that, I continue see a lot 80 personal minds. And after that, then also I so thank you to Hello So that make me proud of myself. that I have more experience, and also my role from the minor to translator, then to a medical team, and also no just only work for Hello, that they make my life for helping only my family, just also helping for Cambodia in people in Cambodia life safe and development, road, land Cambodia can do. So I like fraud, great job for work for Hello, and so I have money to support my family also. So I hope, and also thank you to Hello, and I hope continue work with Hello again and again.
Thank you so much. And my last question for all three of you: you've spent so much time in the field, seeing the minefields, meeting the beneficiaries. You see the exact impact of our work. What do you think our beneficiaries feel about the change in their land? When we remove the landmines, how do you think our beneficiaries feel?
Right. I would volunteer to say first to answer part of your questions. Back in the time when we had opportunity to run mine clearance and have the communities, the mine communities, we noted all those communities were very, very poor. People lived in receptor, start using the ground like unsafe ground or mine with land mines. Then Hello acquired my clearance operator, not just Hello, is quite limited resource. Then we just want to help everybody at the same time. But however, gradually we have a lot of community with mine. So Hello's always run ahead of any other development projects that approach the communities and change people's life in underground. A lot of people that remember Halo in area where we work, and sometimes when we meet them these days, they start talking about back in the time, Halo getting stuck everywhere, and people here very thankful that Halo was the first agency who always helped and then and encouraged them to leave. Now they have free land for cultivation. Those existing health center, pagoda, school, and road infrastructure, etc. If you look on the map, it will run on top where Hilo has cleared, and hundreds of mines full and destroyed. And so they changed a lot. Some old people still remember me as, for instance, I was a location manager in Khmer, one of the Halo Cambodia locations to the west of Cambodia. We cleared some minefields. And my program manager read my narrative. My narrative is for resettlement. It's unbelievable. It's in the middle of nowhere. No one can resettle here. Just put it as agriculture. That's good enough. Okay. Then eventually, it became proper village. There's a few village. At least one of the program manager call it Zero Village. When I brief, this is what currently is. And then this is how it started. Neil, the company location manager now, was my survey officer who provided me the priority, selected me the task. And then I think it was Tim Porter who called me Zero Village, something like that, because it changed from in the middle of nowhere into people living. And one day I drove past and just stopped. And some old people still remember me, still remember Halo. It was very proud that they keep, like, they really appreciate and thanks me again and asked about where Halos are. We didn't see Halo anymore around because we clear all the mine land. That was a section of K5 in convenient locations. I would say Hello, it changed a lot of life in communities. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And indeed, a lasting impact that people still remember Halo's name for generations after clearance. Great. Well, thank you so much to our speakers. So as we've been hearing, the impact of our work in Cambodia is immense. And none of it would be possible without the very generous support of all of our donors and Cambodia's National Mine Action Authority, to all of whom we would like to extend our sincere gratitude. There's still a lot of work to be done in Cambodia, though. Approximately 50% of all known minefields are still remaining to be cleared. And Halo's also delivering similar high impact work all around the globe, which again, thanks to the support of our donors, allows us to save lives, protect livelihoods, jobs to people from mine impacted communities, and make land safe from explosives, remnants of war all around the world. So with that, I think that will be the end of the main speech section of our webinar today. So we'll move on to some questions that we've received from the audience, if that's okay with you guys in Siem Reap.
Yep.
First of all, I'd just like to say we've received a comment from Mr. David Rutter, and he said that you are very interesting and brave people.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, the first question I've got here, I'll give it to all three of you. It's amazing to see, this is from Matthew Davidson, sorry. It's amazing to see the relationship the team has with each other, and inspiring to see how they have channeled their experiences to make a difference. Is hiring local people a key aspect of the success of Halo Cambodia? What do you guys think, Siem Reap? The hiring of local people to work for Halo Cambodia. So certainly from my perspective, having worked in Cambodia for 8 months so far, I would say it's an absolutely essential aspect of the success of Halo Cambodia. Local people know the lay of the land extremely well. They know the history of the land to a large degree too. And that really helps to inform our clearance plans. So we know which places we should be looking to deploy for maximum efficiency of our clearance. And it also gets buy-in from the local community. They want us to be there. They know who we are, and they help us if we want to buy water for our teams or we need to set up a camp. And they will always be invested in our presence there in that way. Is there anything you guys want to add from Siem Reap about hiring people, hiring miners from mine-impacted communities?
Yes, that's a great job that Halo has done, because we are giving opportunity to the people and at the right time in the right place, and the right candidates who most of them help us not just straight away when they are recruited or offer a job, but they deal with the familiarization what Halo does in the communities until they change. There's some change their mind and then accept Halo. As Stu said, first they thought it's dangerous, and then they build the confidence and how reliable they are on Halo. And then now they keep joining us. First, Nira, had the challenge when recruiting people in the communities. When they know that we are working there, but like no one interested. Now people are interesting and like this job very much.
Great, thank you very much. So the next question we have is for Dur. How does Halo promote women and the role of women in mine clearance? What's your experience of being a woman working for Halo?
Yes, my experience. Now I tell my experience woman work for Halo. First, they said when I joined for Halo, then of my friend, she female, and she asked me, "You not afraid of mine, right?" I said, "No, before I afraid of mine, and also I feeling afraid, but now I feeling brave and I'm not afraid of the mine, and also make me feel like I want to do this job because I like to save life all the people of Cambodia, and also I also get some money to support my family. Then after that, the woman in my village that feeling interesting also, interest like they want to join for hello. So then they said next time we have hello recruitment, they can join. Then they say they ask for female or male. Then say we can take both, but mostly hello take choice to all the female deminder. So make me feel like female are strong, not just only male. Just I always thinking like that.
Absolutely. And Halo Cambodia is a fantastic example of how Halo is promoting the interests of women. Half of our demanders in Cambodia are women, which is fantastic. And more women are stepping up into management roles, operating heavy machinery, leading medic departments. We have many women driving for us now. So Halo's doing a great job in Cambodia for promoting the rights of women.
And we have lady promotion as well as section commander, field officer, something, and survey officer. So we grow.
Promote women.
Now women can also not just only male can like go to a role medical team, but female also can come jump up to medical team too.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, guys. Okay, so we've received a question from Shiva Sarestra. Cambodia has pledged to clear all minefields by 2025. Can you share any details of the plans for this? So thank you for that question. If it's all right with you and Siem Reap, I'd like to respond to this one. So the 2025 goal is achievable. One of the best things about mine action in Cambodia is that the threat is very well quantified. It's well understood, and there are very experienced mine action operators like Halo in country who know exactly what is needed to get the job done. All we need is the continued support of our very generous donors so that we can scale up our mine action operations, which will allow us to get much closer to the 2025 deadline. So again, the best thing about Cambodia is we know what the problem is. We've learned over many years how best to fix it. We just need continued support from our donors so that we can ramp up our operations to address the problem. So I hope that answers your question, Shiva. I believe we have time for a couple more. We were asked in advance with no name. I'm interested in the development information and progress that are being achieved worldwide in the fight against landmines and other explosive devices that decimate lives, create poverty, hinder development, and hinder the free movement of people and goods. So thank you very much for that question. And I hope you can see from the answers that our speakers gave today that mine action has such a broad impact on the lives of people that we employ and the beneficiaries who we serve. Once the landmines and explosive ordnance are gone, they're gone for good. And that land can continue to be used for years to come. So that very much addresses the issue of poverty and hindering development, making space for projects like irrigation and other infrastructure. In addition, the free movement of goods absolutely is key in Cambodia as well. From my own personal experience of seeing roads develop in our previously tiered minefields is incredible. And a lot of our work is underpinned by many of the sustainable development goals, like no poverty and no hunger. And we've got some really fantastic information about that in our headquarters. So whoever asked that question, I'm afraid I don't have a name, I would very much encourage you to get in touch with us after this webinar. You can send us an email. We've got lots of great literature that shows exactly how our work helps to the development of Cambodia and the other countries we work in, and also the partnerships that we have with other NGOs to cross the sector and make sure that mine action is as efficient as possible with other development projects. So I hope whoever asked that question, you do get in touch because we've got some great information to share with you. And so with that, I've been informed that our time is up today. So I would just like to say a massive thank you to Nira, Saro and Der. Thank you so much for sharing your stories with us. And I absolutely agree with David Nutter. You are interesting, brave, amazing people. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chum Riep Lia.
Chum Riep Lia. Bye.
Thank you very much for listening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed the webinar.